We're constantly being presented these horrific things as incidents.
In the last album was like more clear. The incident is maybe more open to interpretation, but would you say maybe throughout the whole, is that maybe the way you can present cynicism in a way?
What do you mean, sorry?
Yeah, no, maybe I'll rephrase my question. The incident, the title, how should we interpret that? Or now maybe...
Well, it is a bit cynical. The incident, ultimately for me, what it came to represent was a very detached way of summarising something that potentially was quite dramatic or traumatic. So the idea that you could dismiss or encapsulate an earthquake in India that kills 10,000 people as an incident, or you could dismiss kidnap and murder of a small child as an incident. But this is what the media do all the time. We're constantly being presented these horrific things as incidents, and yet the Michael Jackson story comes along, death of a pop star, one guy, and suddenly it's all very personal and very emotive, and we're all supposed to feel this incredible wave of, you know, sadness at the death of a pop star. So that became very interesting to me, and I began to notice how certain things were presented in this way and other things were presented in a much more kind of emotive way. And I'm not quite sure how they make those decisions or who makes those decisions.
Yeah, maybe we can speculate a bit about it.
Yeah.
But as a curious guy, do you then maybe try to stay away or maybe look with a different view to the media and find things out yourself then instead of?
Well, I think, but yes.
Or has it already been there for that like a while?
Well, what I did was I found these stories in the media which fascinated me, like the evacuation of a religious cult in Texas, for example. I found it fascinating, and I went on the internet, and of course you can find an amazing amount of information on the internet about these things. And then I began to write songs in the first person, putting myself kind of in the position. So that kind of gave me the opportunity to try and feel a little bit more empathy or insight into those events, rather than the kind of, you know, what I call Princess Diana style of media reportage, which is people we shouldn't really care about at all. We're all expected to mourn. Would
you maybe say that this type of journalism is maybe in the same way polluted as maybe modern music nowadays a little bit? Or is that a bit harsh comparison?
No, I think actually the opposite is true with music, because the interesting thing about music is now it's been very much liberated from the kind of taste makers. Because what's happened with the internet now, and MySpace particularly, is you have, whatever it is, there's some ridiculous amount of bands, 3 million bands on MySpace now, whatever it is, something crazy. And that in a way has liberated music from that kind of so-called filter that you get with the media. I don't think people are as influenced anymore certainly by radio, by magazines, by journalism, by record companies. And that's a good thing. I mean, because what you've got now is you've got, you know, young kids on the internet that might be listening to Backstreet Boys, Pink Floyd, Metallica. To them, it's no difference. It's just good music. But what we had for the generations of music fans before that was this incredible power that radio, television, journalism, music journalism had in order to influence what people listened to. I think that's kind of disappearing now in a way, which has to be a good thing.